Morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It is still your one and only 24/7 news boss. We are here to bring you another fresh update concerning the IPOB. And at the moment, we are going to talk about the popular Nollywood actor Okon speaking to the zoo government and telling them to release, of course, Nnamdi Kanu. But then before we proceed, please subscribe, like and share this video, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so you will be the first to receive our updates promptly. Comedian Okon, Lagos, urges the zoo government to release Nnamdi Kanu, says it makes moral common sense, even though it doesn't make legal sense. Comedian and Nollywood actor Ime Bishop Omo, popularly known as Okon Lagos, has joined the growing list of prominent voices calling on the zoo government to release the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Speaking during a recent episode of the Clarity Zone podcast, Omo stressed that Kanu's continued incarceration has become a national issue that goes beyond legal interpretations, insisting that his release is necessary for the sake of peace, reconciliation, and healing in the country, especially in the southeast. The comic actor, who is known for his outspoken nature on political and social issues, explained that while the zoo government may have its legal arguments for keeping Kanu in detention, morality and national interest should take precedence at this point. According to him, the zoo government cannot achieve true peace if issues surrounding Kanu's prolonged detention are not addressed with fairness and dialogue. I am 1,000,000% of the opinion that Nnamdi Kanu should be freed. Free him, Omo said, with strong conviction during the podcast. It may not make legal sense depending on what they have claimed, that the evidence that he has put in the form of the so-called crimes he has committed. But freeing Kanu doesn't need to make legal sense. It makes moral common sense. The comedian further elaborated that Kanu, despite his controversial style of agitation, merely echoed the long-standing grievances of the Southeast people who have consistently complained about marginalization and exclusion in the zoo government political and economic structures. He stated, Kanu only voiced the perceived marginalization of the people of the Southeast in the way he best knows and understands. Of course, he took emotional decisions, and emotional decisions are not always the right decisions. But they came from a place of genuine concern for his people. He felt that his people were being left behind, and he reacted the way he thought best. That is what many failed to understand. Omo, who noted that as an entertainer, he hardly ventures into political commentary, explained that he could not remain silent on an issue that has continued to cause unrest, economic losses, and bias in the Southeast. He argued that granting Kanu freedom would serve as a bold step towards national conciliation and would significantly reduce the tension that has plagued the region since his detention. In his words, the country needs peace. Every week we hear of sit-at-home, buying clashes, and insecurity linked to this agitation. It has eaten deep into the fabric of the Southeast economy. Traders can't trade freely, investors are scared, and ordinary citizens are living in fear. If the release of one man can open the door for dialogue and reconciliation, then what is the harm in doing so? He asked. Then, Okon Lagos also faulted the zoo government's approach of trying to subdue agitation with brute force, stressing that it has only worsened the situation. He urged leaders to embrace dialogue and reconciliation instead of continuous punishment. You don't silence agitation with bullets or prison bars. You silence it with understanding, empathy, and inclusiveness. Keeping Nnamdi Kanu in detention has not solved the problem. Instead, it has created more anger, more tension, and more division. The zoo government should rethink its strategy, he added. Omo's remarks come at a time when calls for Kanu's release have intensified, with political leaders, religious figures, civil society organizations, and even international bodies urging the zoo government's administration to consider dialogue. Many argue that releasing Kanu could reduce the unrest and open a new chapter of peace building in the Southeast. While acknowledging that IPOB's activities and Kanu's rhetoric have sometimes crossed controversial lines, Omar reiterated that the Zoo government should look beyond the legal battles and consider the humanitarian and political benefits of setting him free. At the end of the day, Kanu is a son, a brother, and a leader to many. He is not perfect, but then who is? He asks. His release may not solve everything immediately, but it will show that the Zoo government is willing to listen, to forgive, and to move forward. And that, for me, is the first step toward healing our fractured nation, the actor concluded. Furthermore, Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention since June 2021 after his controversial rearrest and extradition to the Zoo nation. He faces terrorism-related charges at the Federal High Court in the Federal Capital Territory. Despite multiple court rulings ordering his release on health and human rights grounds, the Zoo government has insisted on prosecuting him, citing national security concerns. Okon's emotional appeal adds to the mounting pressure on the Zoo government to explore a political solution to the lingering issue. Whether the call will be heeded remains to be seen, but for the veteran actor, releasing Kanu is not just a legal or political matter, it is, in his word, a moral duty owed to justice, peace, and the future of the Zoo nation. Once again, my people, we will end it here for now, and we'll be back again shortly for more updates. But before we come back, please subscribe.